allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out on this beautiful night. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Here. Mr. Williams?
Here. Would someone like to audit the bills?
Me, I'll audit the bills. I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 13 dated July 12, 2019 in the amount of $421,207.19. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Can I get a motion on the budget transfers?
Yes, budget transfer number 18. It has to do with the Putnam Lake Park District and capital outlay, moving $13,650 from Parks contractual expense account to the Parks equipment and capital outlay expense account. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve budget transfer request number 18. So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. First on my agenda, I want to talk a little bit about the Fox Run Water District. Once again, we have a problem with the wells out there. Well number 1 was not producing as it should be, and well number 2, the pump actually blew out again. So we had to effectuate an emergency repair. The emergency repair was for the amount of $6,451.50. We are currently evaluating why we are losing pumps once again, well, as frequently as we are, because they are not lasting very long.
It seems like an annual event.
It is an annual event. We get now pumps usually are going to go 5 to 10 years. We're getting a year to year and a half.
And there's no warranty, guarantee, some T?
Well, there is, and the last couple have been covered by the warranty. This one we were a month late. Yeah, so it didn't occur. One of the things that, we've done pretty much everything we can do. We've put in phase protection, we put in surge protection, we've rechecked the meters. There's not much more we can do. And the thinking now is that possibly the well is being drawn down and is cavitating.
What?
It's spiraling, right? Cavitating.
Well, what happens is it's not drawing up water, so it heats up really hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then as the water comes back up, so we are going to be making a FOIL to the health department. Hopefully they will have something on well logs. We actually have 4 wells out there. 2 of them are not in production. And we're going to see if we can't get at least one, if not both, of the other wells in production. One of the wells had a well pump in it. They were drawing it back up and lost it. So it's sitting at the bottom of the well.
You're gonna need one of those big magnets.
Yeah, something. Try to capture it. They're
pretty strong though. I saw a guy from the sheriff's department had one this big, and it was it would lift 400 pounds, and it was no bigger than it was small.
Yeah.
You just need a strong rope and stronger muscles.
Stronger muscles, and it's a long way down there. I think what they're going to be doing is actually putting a fish hook down to try to catch it.
Like a gaff or something.
Cool. So,
Lost it.
that's pretty much it for Fox Run, just to update the board on that. I do have an executive session, personnel, legal. Mary, you're up.
No, I'm up. Okay, I wasn't sure if you were gonna do lifeguards or anything. Okay, so I have Mr. Machabaro's recreation requests on my agenda. Matt is happy to announce that they'll be running a new program this fall, the youth gymnastics, including ages 3 through 12. There'll be 45-minute classes, and they will be run for a 6-week program on Saturdays. The offering is $100 per child. Matt is partnering with B&C Gymnastics located on Route 22. Formerly, I believe it was Epic. It is now B&C. And they'll be using the facility. 75% of this revenue generated will be paid to B&C Gymnastics. Do you know if there's a written agreement on this?
I do not know.
Okay. So I'm just curious, I'd be curious to see. So, I'll approve, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Patterson Recreation Center to engage in a agreement with the B&C Gymnastics on Route 22 to run a program for youth gymnastics. So
You want to say based on a written agreement?
based on, yeah, based on a written agreement, thank
Well,
you.
there is one more thing. Somebody goes down there and gets hurt, we should be held harmless. So,
Okay. So based on a written agreement and provided that we are held harmless in the event that there are any injuries to the participants. Does that sound good?
Mhm.
yep.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's one.
That's one. Next, we have a soccer program. The Patterson Recreation Center would like to include a sibling discount on their very popular youth soccer program. The pricing will be as follows: $65 per participant and $55 per sibling starting this fall. They're now accepting 7-year-olds to the program, so the age range will now be from 3 to 7. I'd like to make a motion to approve the sibling discount for the youth soccer program. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Third, what do we have here? So, apparently it looks like that previously we have approved the summer Lego camp program price was not included in the request. So this is kind of an amendment to the last request for the summer Lego camp, which actually is probably over now, and robotics. So I'm gonna make a motion to approve the fees for Playwell Technologies, which is AKA Lego Camp. The fee per camper was $140, and the Art and Technology, Robotics and Coding fee per camper is $145. So I'd like to make a motion to approve that pricing. So moved.
Second.
All in
Second.
favor? I'm sorry?
I didn't think you heard me.
I haven't gone to sleep yet, Charlie. I'm okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So, just to go back to that, I think that maybe we should, so those things aren't missed and we're not going back, or maybe we can have a conversation later about that. There should probably be some type of a format for these requests, you know, that,
Mhm. Why don't you talk to Matt about that?
Yeah.
As a
Well,
liaison.
Yeah, I will.
It probably goes a little bit farther than that. So I will talk to the board at some point.
yeah, okay. And lastly, we have a new hire, junior staff member, Christopher George, for I'm sorry, I'm just reading this, for the camp. They'd like to hire Christopher George, who was currently a counselor in training in the summer day camp. Apparently Christopher has a birthday coming, he'll be 16, so they'd like to promote him to a junior staff member at the rate of $9.25 per hour. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Christopher George as a junior staff member pending his August 16, 2019 birthday, in which he will turn 16 years old, and provided all paperwork has been approved and processed. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Just want to add that Chris George is a fine young man. Did really well as a CIT and would make a great rec staff.
Great. Okay, Peter, you're up.
Okay, first I'm going to talk about the highway request for a new truck. I have a memo from Russ Goff, our highway superintendent. Russ states that their truck number 2, which is a 2008 Ford F-250, is not going to be able to pass inspection this year. A lot of problems with it. Bed and frame are badly rotted, has a serious exhaust leak, engine knock, all very costly repairs. So the truck has served us well for 11 years, but it's not cost effective to repair. So he would like to request to purchase a new truck. They'll make that truck number 1, take the current truck number 1, make that number 2. to replace the number 2 truck, and it will be a 2009 Ford F-250 4x4 equipped with a snowplow. The cost of the truck is $32,663 plus an additional $7,730 for the snowplow. So he's requesting, and I'd like to make a request to approve $40,393 for the purchase of a new truck. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did they, what would they do with the old truck? Just out of
Put it out to
curiosity.
bid.
Auction.
Oh, they-
Auction.
Auctions International, yeah.
Yeah,
But after all that we just said about it, it probably won't get a whole lot of money for it.
yeah. I used Auctions International and actually found out that the recycling center bid on them and actually paid less money through Auctions International than they would on the side. So now the permanently out of service vehicles, I just call the recycling center and I get more money that way. So I don't know if he wants to. Who says liaison? Is that you?
No.
No, we did away with next Friday.
Want to talk to Russ, you call him direct.
I'll text.
Okay, next I have a request from Denise Montana, our EMS administrator. Ms. Montana and myself did some interviews in the past few weeks, and we interviewed John Miloslaw. Charlie, how do you say that? Miloslaw?
John,
That's what
Mr.
it
John.
looks like.
Mr. John. So, very, very qualified candidate. I'd like to make a motion to hire John at the rate of $15 an hour, pending passing all his backgrounds and so on, as an EMT. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I also have a letter from our EMS administrator, Denise Montana, to approve a leave of absence for Jessica Von Aim, effective August 2nd, 2009. She's pursuing a degree as a physician assistant in Philadelphia. So is this something we need to approve, or is this?
We should approve it.
I'd like to approve leave of absence for Jessica Von Aim, effective August 2nd, 2019. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Can I just say something? 'Cause if you continue, she's asking to be able to come in and, so during this leave, she's asking to come in during the breaks and I guess the recesses, so would we have to then
No.
reapprove her, so we can approve
We're just
her-
approving the leave of absence so she can go
Until-
away. When she
okay.
comes back, she'll be able to continue her employment with the town.
Okay, all right.
That way we
I didn't
don't
know
have
if you
to
had to
turn anything
mention
in.
that, so
No.
you don't have to go back and forth. so-
No, we're good.
Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye. It also just brings me up to a question that came up when we were doing some interviews. So a couple of the candidates just didn't have enough experience. We're pretty strict on the requirements, the EMTs we hire, and one of them is experience. But we do run across some very good candidates. They just became EMTs, maybe they just have a little bit of volunteer experience. So Denise, so the EMS administrator set up a volunteer program, which I think is fantastic. We really hired some really good EMTs from the volunteer
It's been
program.
100% effective. so-
Yeah. Just my question is, do we need to approve these volunteers as we do other volunteers for the town? Or?
We're not hiring them, we're not running them through Putnam County personnel. There's no expense to the budget. There's no real trigger for town board approval.
And they don't drive, so
They don't drive, no.
Okay.
And we make them sign the volunteer waiver form.
Mhm.
So there's no real liability. So no, we haven't
Okay.
from day one.
It's just a question that came up. That's all I have.
Okay.
Next, pedal boat policy. We have been back and forth with the Veterans Park Committee. They requested town board approval on getting a pedal boat for Veterans Park, lake, pond, what have you. The board agreed with that. The supervisor has come up with a list of rules, which the Veterans Park Committee has reviewed and as far as I can remember, made some minor changes. So I think this is a great idea. If anybody wants to add anything or what have you, I mean, it's not like we can't do it after this, but I think we should approve this now. They still have to come to us with a recommendation on the purchase of the boat, like where,
We
how much.
approved the purchase of the boat. It is currently sitting in the pond.
Forget about what I just said. All right, so I'll make a motion that the town board approve the Veterans Memorial Park pedal boat rules.
Dated,
So moved. Dated July 24, 2019. So moved.
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
It's a lot of rules. It doesn't say no smiling, does it?
All right. Now, I think I'm going to need a little guidance on this from the supervisor on this next one. Denise Montana is seeking approval to order either 22 number 511 brand short sleeve uniform polo shirts, or she's looking to approve to order 22,511. I don't think
Well,
so.
we've got great anticipation on the number of EMTs we're gonna be
Yeah.
employing.
Beautiful.
Says
I
on
can
the-
see those volunteers lining up now.
Charlie, on the next page, it has the
I know.
22 and the whole.
He
Yes,
is just
yes,
being
yes.
funny.
So we can order as many as you'd like.
All right, well, we're gonna order 22 from Galley. There's no address on the Galley company, but I'll make a motion that the town board approve the purchase of 22 item number 511 shirts from Galley Enterprise at a price not to exceed $1,200. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. That's it.
Sean?
All right, I have the distinct honor of approving, or at least making a motion to approve, the next senior trip request to the Villa Roma. This is for the Paul Anka Songbook Tribute Show day trip. This will be, the date of the trip is September 10th, 2019. Net cost to the budget will be $1,580.10, so I'll make a motion we approve this senior trip for 40 participants, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Looks like we have a lot of other stuff in here. Want
We
the,
have, you wanna do the conference?
Yeah, so we have a conference request for Miss Sue Brown to go to a Comp Alliance meeting over at the Hotel Fair at West Point. It's a leadership symposium. There's no cost for the conference. It's only mileage, so I'll make a motion that we approve Sue Brown to attend this conference at an amount of approximately $42.10. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm abstaining.
Oh, I have a different, I don't have any of that, see?
No, I do my own.
Go right ahead.
No, I don't have anything to do. We've got a few things we need to talk about in executive session.
Oh, okay.
But that's about it.
All right.
Does any town board member have any other business?
You want to deal with this waiver of fees?
I do not.
Okay, good.
Do you want to stand up and do it?
No, I was hoping that we were going to have a lengthy discussion on it. Good. I am very interested to hear what these young ladies came here, because they definitely didn't come here to listen to that agenda.
Well, let's stay where we are. Does any other board member have any other business?
No.
Okay. Public recognition. Sarah Catalano is our head lifeguard,
And head lifeguard.
supervisor
Hello, Sarah.
lifeguard. She's
Hi.
brought some of her friends. I don't know if you want to introduce everybody?
Sure. Hi, I'm Sarah Catalano. I'm the supervising lifeguard at Putnam Lake. This is Cassidy Speller, Subomi Foley, and Beth Powell. They are head lifeguards, and also Subomi is the swim team coach. So we've had sort of a fishy sorry.
If it's easier for you, you can take the mic right out. So, or you can shorten it down if you like. But we want to make sure we get you on, because this goes out on TV.
Okay.
Millions of people,
Goodness. All right. Pressure's on.
potentially, of course.
CNN.
We don't know whether they actually watch, but, you know.
So we've had a bit of a fishy situation at Putnam Lake for the past 6 days. When we had the chemical algicide treatment on Thursday at about 8 a.m., there was a lack of oxygen for the baby fish, and so they've been rising to the surface and dying continuously in large clumps. So I'd say about 1,000 we've collected so far in trash bags, and we have some pictures over here to show you guys.
Cool.
The bottom line is we don't mind helping, but the situation has been going on for almost a week now, tomorrow, and it hasn't improved. They keep showing up every day, and it's not on the lifeguard's job description to keep doing this, and even above our maintenance man's job, so we need help. I've contacted a few companies today, one Solitude Lake Management and the Pond and Lake Connection. They said they specialize in mostly cleaning lakes and like pond sludge, but they also could help us with this. There's also another scheduled algicide treatment next month, so if this happens again in the future, there needs to be a policy in place because we can't just leave it and then it happens again and we're not prepared. So also, we discussed that someone besides us lifeguards should be addressing the community as a whole because they're coming up to us concerned and trying to help us clean, which is fine, but we're also using gloves and buckets and skimmers, so they don't have that protection, so we're a little hesitant to accept the help from them. So this is where we're going to ask you to maybe if there's like a large email or a page where the community of Putnam Lake and Patterson can read and just know that you guys are aware of it and we're trying to help. But it's not our priority while people are swimming to keep going in every half hour to be cleaning up these dead fish. And they are in large amounts. Maybe we can bring this laptop up to the front. Somebody. In addition to this, there are swim team parents complaining. Subomi has received a few emails from parents saying that they don't want their kids swimming in this because if the fish are dying, what could be happening to their kids if they're going under the water? So I think, Subomi, how many days have you not been swimming during practice?
Pretty much
All week, okay. So the swim team practices are Monday through Friday and they haven't swam all week. So, but I did want to throw out there that I also contacted a company for the aeration and they said they had a meeting with you on Friday. So I just wanted to thank you for putting that step forward and trying to fix this. And that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, a couple of responses. Generally, the Park District Board is responsible for the interaction between the immediate Putnam Lake community. They do have a Facebook page, so they can put something up on Facebook if you like.
Yeah, great.
Do you know Laura Russo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Laura, I believe, manages that page, is that correct, Pete?
They also have an email blast too, which I think is just as good because not everyone's on Facebook.
Sure, absolutely. That would help. It's very unfortunate that we had this fish die off. Just so everybody knows, they're the smaller minnows. I think it was a combination of things. Certainly the algae treatment didn't help. It's not the algae, it's not the chemical that causes the problem. The problem is it kills off the algae, and as the algae decomposes, it takes oxygen out. And it occurred just before we got the very hot weather, combined with the fact that we have not had a lot of precipitation in a considerable amount of time. So the water was, basically sitting there, becoming oxygen starved to begin with. So there were a number of contributing factors in all this. Hopefully it's not going to happen again. I do have an air pump with water diffusers downstairs. We're going to try to get into the lake in the next few days. Hopefully that at least will help around Warren Beach. We'll see if that works. If we have good success with that, we may expand it to Jackson.
Is that the pump you said we were going to install, but then have it moved in the morning before we open the beach for swimming?
Yes.
Outside, it can stay in, it just has to be outside the swim area.
Right. So we're trying
Yeah.
to figure the logistics about getting that in the lake right now. How we're going to get power, where we're going to house it, if it's going to be in a housing, some sort of container.
Okay. For you guys, since you're lifeguards, the important part to remember is that if we put an aeration unit in, that you make sure, whether it's your job or notifying someone, that you don't open the beach while that aeration unit is in the swim area, because it's an attractive nuisance. It can be an entanglement issue, you know, it's a hazard. So it can't be in there and have the beach open.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So I think one of the main issues here, though, is if this does happen again, you know, I think, you know, lifeguards are responsible for some maintenance of the beach and the swim area, but I think with this perfect storm and this large amount of fish for a long time, for a week period, I don't know if that's their job. I think if something,
Right.
I think we need something in place if it does happen again,
Yeah.
where they would know who to call.
Right.
We would maybe call someone out, one of these companies that she mentioned, to come out and do a cleanup or a fix.
We do have a maintenance person out there
I've seen them on-
that I would hope would be addressing most of this. We need to work on that a little bit.
Yeah, this seems like it was a little above his.
No, I don't agree, because I saw pictures of it, and it was, at the first time, it was like 300 the first day. The issue initially was that no one communicated this. It was found by a health department inspector who showed up and said, oh my God, there's all these dead fish in the swim area. And the reaction was, well, the lifeguards should remove those because people are in the water, and it's gonna, you know, who knows, you know, they're dead fish, you don't want them. It's no different than if you had a lot of weeds in the swim area. We would hope that you would do something before you open it for swimming, right? So while I agree it's not your job to take dead fish out on a daily basis, it is your job to make sure that the swim area is safe before you let anybody in. So if you showed up to your job in the morning and you opened up Warren Beach and there was a lot of floating vegetation, your job is to make sure that you don't open that beach until it's safe. So I would hold you accountable for that as head lifeguards, that's your job, to ensure the safety of that beach. Not to let people in the water and say, well, it's not my job, but to protect those swimmers, because I don't care if people can't go swimming as much as I care that when they do go, that they're safe, that you can see them, that there's, you know, adequate supervision, adequate bather surveillance. So that's something that we do have to work on, communication between you, between the Laura Russo, between the park board, and between this board, between Rich Williams. If something's there, when you get there first thing, you need to call. Everybody has cell phones. You need to call, maybe have the number to this office and call in and say, hey, I'm here, I'm ready to open, but this is the situation I'm seeing, so that we can take an immediate action and send somebody over.
They have Veronica.
Better, yeah.
Sarah, do you have my cell phone number?
Yes, at least.
But you're
Okay,
right, Veronica
yeah.
is the
So,
liaison. so-
Yeah, so they have Veronica, and I think in that regard, there's been pretty good communication between them, Veronica, and myself. This was one that we did miss a little bit, but did
Well,
you
we
have something
need-
to add?
No, I just think, we're just hoping next time it happens, we have either something better in place or things go a little quicker. I mean, seems like a long time. I mean, our whole purpose at the beginning of the summer, we were talking about, we want to retain these great lifeguards that we have. You know, we want them to come back, we want them to tell their friends, this is a great place to work. You know, come back, come work with us next year. We don't want them saying, yeah, for a whole week I was dredging fish,
Pulling fish.
you know, out of the water. That's my only concern.
Well, I'm playing this one out. I didn't think it was gonna be going quite this long. I'll be out there again tomorrow to take a look at everything, and see how it's going. I do have a backup plan. Beth, you wanted to add something?
Yes, I did. So as you mentioned, yes, like when we open the beach in the morning, it is part of our job to make sure that the swimming area is safe. It's written in our job description that we have to set up all equipment that we need, scrub the docks, and to me and most of the lifeguard, that means that we're making sure that every aspect of our swimming area is safe. I think one of our biggest concerns with this issue is that we'll have patrons coming up to us during the day telling us about these dead fish, and I feel that because we need 2 guards to open the beach, we can't let anyone in the water unless we have 2 guards available. If one guard is constantly being taken off the stand to clean up fish during the day, I feel it's unsafe to have swimmers in the water. So I feel that our main reason for coming is we should have some sort of policy or a procedure in place that we should be able to tell patrons, you know, absolutely we will go clean up this fish, but we need to have something to tell them.
Well, the policy should be that if you really need to go out there and clean the fish up, you know, a second time, or for whatever reason you need to do, not just fish, anything, everybody needs to come out of the water. You go do what you have to do. and then everybody can go back in.
I was thinking about a bathroom break or a shift, when you guys rotate your shifts, your guard locations, you have a policy for how you rotate, how you exchange information from one guard to the other of what you're doing, the scanning area, how many people, whether little Johnny is a pain in the butt and he has to be watched, that he doesn't listen. That's all part of the communication plan for lifeguards, right? So part of that would be, hey, I need to do something. You need to then adjust accordingly to make sure you have proper surveillance. Maybe it means you say, hey guys, just come into this shallow area because one guard can properly supervise, an area that's just in 3 foot of water and the other guard can do something. That's certainly potential. There's no written law that you have to have 2 guards at every beach. It's depending on the size of the surveillance area, correct? You guys know that, right?
We were, I feel we were under the impression that when we come to work every day, if we don't have 2 guards on the beach for our specific area, that we can't
No, it's
function.
it's for the size of the area that you have to surveil. So it depends. If you have an area that's you need 1 guard for every 200 feet of. I can't
Listen,
quote it.
I have it downstairs.
Anyway,
I'm not
because
gonna
of the
do it
distance,
now.
you need 1 guard for each section of beach, and depending on how far you allow people to swim from shore, you need another guard. But it's area, it's size of the area. You can guard a pretty large area. And a lot of times when you first get there, you may only have a few people in the water or wanting to go in, obviously. So we can work on the semantics of when you need 2 guards, but you don't always need 2 guards. And again, I would ask what happens when one of you needs to go to the bathroom. Do you clear the water? Or do you just say, hey, I'll be back in a minute, and I run in and use the bathroom? Right? So
Yeah.
just make sure you're covering yourselves and make sure if you have those protocols, you're following them. I think Rich was exactly right on what caused the fish die-off. Fish die-offs happen every year in all
Yeah.
the water bodies, right?
Yeah.
Being a guard at a beach is a much more challenging job, and I respect you guys for that, because there's a lot of guards that wouldn't work at a beach. They want to work at a pool where you can see the bottom, and if there's a child missing, you can look in the pool, and they're not there. They may be out playing at the tennis courts, but they're not in your pool. At a beach, you don't have that luxury. If somebody says, my kid's missing, you have to assume that they're in the water. And unfortunately, we have 2 incidents this week at Lake Carmel, Lake Mayapack that show the importance of, in those cases, it wasn't at a regulated beach. You guys have the safest situation because we have professional guards doing a great job, and we thank you for that. You're really important. In fact, in my mind, you're the most important person because you're protecting our children. So we want you to have the tools to do your job. We agree it's not your job to scoop fish. It's not your job to clean weeds all day. But when there's nothing going on and there's 2 kids in the water, you can kind of do other things to stay busy. So I appreciate that you took the time to come here tonight. That means a lot to me. It really does.
I'd like to comment also, I appreciate you guys coming in and bringing this to our attention. I want to make sure that if it's Veronica or the head lifeguards have a contact number for the maintenance guy over there, because I really think that's that person's responsibility, because he's doing maintenance work, cleaning up work for the district. And these guys are almost like backups, or until he gets there.
And if he can't handle it, he needs to reach out to the supervisor for other resources.
Yeah,
If-
and we have to make sure that there's enough, whatever it is, skimmers, buckets, and that kind of stuff.
Well, why can't he go out before they open?
He does.
Check it.
He
Oh,
does.
he does.
Yes.
I will say, on Friday,
What, could you just
Oh,
state your name,
I'm-
because when they transcribe this, they're not gonna know.
got
who
it.
you are.
Cassidy Speller, head guard at Putnam Lake.
Thank you.
On Friday, the day that the fish incident happened, occurred for the first time, our maintenance man was there before the lifeguards. He generally is pretty attentive to things. He will point them out to us, and things will get done in a certain amount of time, depending on what it is that he's pointing out. From my understanding of the guards that were working, our maintenance man had gone and didn't indicate that there was an issue. Again, it is, I agree with you, the lifeguard's responsibility to identify an issue that a maintenance person may not realize. But I think that that's part of our confusion, is that our maintenance person, as well as beach patrons and ourselves, were unsure of kind of if this is just a fish die-off, there are dead fish in a lake, it's a lake, people are used to that. or if this is something extreme that we should close the beach for a day and clean up, or if we should close the beach for a few hours and clean up. Again, I think that we touched on that that's a communication thing that could be worked on, but I think that that's something that we're kind of concerned about, or more so asking for, is clearer distinctions between what could be a situation that we need to like handle that's beyond a regular situation and what isn't, because beach patrons are very sensitive to being called out of the water. They don't always necessarily like or agree with the lifeguard's discretion and would rather have an adult, kind of some higher figure besides the lifeguard say something, which again, it's a communication issue. That's nothing that you guys can do about beach patrons disagreeing with lifeguards.
No, but one thing we promise you is that we have your back. If you guys make a decision based on safety, we have your back 1,000%. We don't care if people get pissed off. It doesn't matter. You're
That
in
means a lot
charge
to
out
us.
there.
That means a lot to
You're
us.
the most important person out there, so we will make sure we do that. We will also communicate with Veronica to make sure that there's a clear path of communication, because she is really the point person. That's what we're paying her to do. And so
And
we'll make sure.
she's been great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, she really has.
Good.
And I've been a lifeguard here for over 5 years, and she's
Great.
been one of the best with communication.
Have any of you guys guarded at the Veterans Park this year yet?
Yes,
Okay.
I personally have, yeah.
Great. Because that was another thing we were hoping for, was crossover, cross-training. And when
Yeah.
do you guys, how often do you guys do trainings as head guards with the other guards? Do you do lost swimmer drills?
So far, once a month.
Once a month?
We
Okay.
tried to have one last Wednesday, but was rained out, unfortunately. So we have another one planned for next Wednesday with the fire department.
Oh, great.
Mm.
Good, thank you.
Could I just ask a question? You said the maintenance man points things out to you in the morning before you open. What types of things does he point out?
If there's, say, like a board loose, he'll say, just a heads up, maybe he'll go and do it. Sometimes the lifeguard points out to him at the end of a shift.
Right.
If we had an umbrella broken the other day because of the wind, he was in communication about when we would get the new umbrella, telling the guards that that was broken, it's not just missing from the shed. Things like that. Pretty general beach maintenance things that, depending on the severity, we may all see, the lifeguards may see a splintered board as more of an issue than someone else. That all depends on the situation, but generally things like that.
Great. I also want to compliment all of you for standing up there and speaking in front of 1 million viewers. It's hard, but you guys are all very eloquent, and I think that's awesome.
This might even go viral.
Could be viral.
That was our
3
plan
million
coming here,
hits,
yes. I came here for the fame.
You might want to look at the camera, smile, and wave and say, "Hi, Mom." No, we do appreciate it, though. Thank you so much.
So, one last thing. Sarah, did you know the 2 vendors that you had reached out to deal with this?
The two businesses that I mentioned?
Yeah.
I didn't know them. Sorry, I didn't know them prior to today, but I do have their contact information and where they're located.
Okay. In the future, again, good communication. It would be, I don't have a problem with you contacting them, but we could have had the conversation so you would have known that one of the benefits of town hall. Solitude is the person who has been doing the lake treatment out there for a number of years.
Oh, okay, nice.
They, we have to put it out for bid every year. They didn't get it this year.
Interesting.
The pond and lake connection did. They're the ones that did the treatment,
Okay,
so.
that's good. All right, great. So you
Okay.
already have it. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We
Thank you.
appreciate you listening.
Thank you very much
Thank
for coming in.
Somebody's keys and things are on the floor. Phone, keys, somebody, okay, they want you. You wouldn't get far, but,
It's nice to put a face to the name. We're always
Good night.
dealing with them
Yeah.
for different things.
yeah, very good.
Okay, does anybody else wish to be heard on any topic in the public? Going once, going twice. Can I get a motion to go into executive
Motion to
session?
go into executive session.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.